What if some of the strangest places on Earth are hiding secrets we still don't completely understand? From a waterfall that appears to bleed in Antarctica, to stones that seem to move across a desert by themselves, our planet is filled with places that look almost impossible. Some of these mysteries have scientific explanations. Others are still being studied. Today, we're traveling to 7 of the most mysterious places on Earth. And along the way, we'll discover that sometimes, the real science behind these places is even more fascinating than the mystery itself. 1. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. Deep in the Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan lies a gigantic burning crater known as the Darvaza gas crater. Locals have nicknamed it the Door to Hell. The crater is roughly 70 meters wide, and flames have burned inside it for decades. The story began in 1971, when Soviet engineers were drilling for natural gas. The ground collapsed beneath their equipment, creating a huge crater. Fearing that dangerous gases could escape, engineers reportedly set the gas on fire, expecting it to burn out quickly. The crater continued burning for decades. Today, the glowing flames against the dark desert create one of the strangest landscapes on Earth. During the day, the crater rises from the middle of the enormous desert like a giant wound in the landscape. But at night, it becomes even more dramatic. Hundreds of flames illuminate the darkness, creating an almost otherworldly scene. And beneath those flames is something even more fascinating. The crater is a reminder of how powerful Earth's hidden natural resources can be. What started as an attempt to control escaping gas became one of the most unusual places on our planet. 2. Blood Falls, Antarctica. Now imagine standing in Antarctica and seeing what appears to be blood flowing out of a glacier. That's exactly what makes Blood Falls so extraordinary. The waterfall emerges from Taylor Glacier in Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys. But despite its terrifying appearance, the water isn't blood. The strange red color comes largely from iron-rich, extremely salty water. When this ancient water reaches the surface and meets oxygen, the iron oxidizes, producing a color similar to rust. The result is a deep red stain flowing across the icy landscape. But the color isn't the only mystery. Scientists believe an extremely salty and isolated water system exists beneath the glacier. This water has remained trapped beneath the ice for a remarkably long period of time. And researchers are particularly interested in it because extreme environments like this may help us understand how life can survive under conditions that seem impossible. Blood Falls is a perfect example of how nature can create something that looks supernatural while having a fascinating scientific explanation. 3. Lake Natron, Tanzania. In northern Tanzania lies a lake that can look almost unreal. Lake Natron is famous for its intense red and orange colors, extreme alkalinity, and harsh environment. Its water can become highly alkaline because of minerals and intense evaporation. The conditions are dangerous for many animals. But surprisingly, some creatures have adapted to this extreme environment. One of them is the lesser flamingo. Thousands of flamingos can gather around the lake, feeding and breeding in an environment that would be hostile to many other animals. The lake's appearance has also inspired stories that animals can literally turn to stone. But the chemistry of the lake can preserve the remains of animals that die there, creating an eerie appearance. The combination of mineral-rich water, intense sunlight, and evaporation can make the shoreline look almost like another world. Yet Lake Natron is not a dead place. It supports a remarkable ecosystem that has adapted to conditions that would be extremely difficult for most animals. It is a perfect example of how life can survive in places that seem completely inhospitable. 4. The Moving Stones, Death Valley, USA. Now we're heading to one of the strangest landscapes in the United States. On the dry lakebed of Racetrack Playa in California's Death Valley, massive rocks have been found with long trails stretching behind them. For decades, nobody could easily explain how the stones moved. Were they moved by mysterious forces? Was something pulling them? Or was there another explanation hiding beneath the surface? For a long time, nobody knew for sure. Eventually, scientists discovered that the answer involved a rare combination of water, ice, wind, and timing. During unusual winter conditions, a thin layer of water can cover the playa. When temperatures fall, sheets of ice can form around the rocks. Later, when sunlight warms the surface, large pieces of ice can break apart and begin moving across the water. Strong winds can push these floating sheets of ice. The rocks leave long tracks behind them. So the mystery wasn't supernatural after all. It was simply a rare natural phenomenon that required very specific conditions. And sometimes, nature doesn't need magic to create something that looks impossible. 5. Socotra Island, Yemen. Imagine an island where the trees look like giant umbrellas from another planet. Welcome to Socotra. Located in the Arabian Sea, Socotra is famous for its extraordinary wildlife and plants. Some of its species are found nowhere else on Earth. One of the most famous is the dragon blood tree. Its strange umbrella-shaped canopy gives the landscape an almost alien appearance. The island's isolation helped create a unique ecosystem over millions of years. A large number of Socotra's plant species are endemic, meaning they naturally occur nowhere else. That makes the island incredibly important to scientists studying evolution and biodiversity. The dragon blood tree itself has become a symbol of Socotra. Its unusual shape is not the result of science fiction. It is the result of millions of years of adaptation to the island's climate. From a distance, the landscape can look like something from another planet. But this strange world is completely real. Socotra shows us that Earth itself can produce landscapes that seem more alien than anything we could imagine. 6. The Nazca Lines, Peru. Across the desert plains of southern Peru are enormous drawings carved into the ground. They're known as the Nazca Lines. Some depict animals. Others form geometric shapes and enormous straight lines stretching across the desert. There are figures representing birds, animals, and other mysterious designs. Many of these designs are so large that their full shapes are difficult to appreciate from the ground. They were created by ancient people more than 1,000 years ago. But why? That's where the mystery begins. Archaeologists have proposed several explanations. Some believe the lines were connected to religious rituals. Others have suggested astronomical connections or ceremonial pathways. There is no single explanation that answers every question about every design. What makes the Nazca Lines remarkable is their scale, precision, and survival. The desert is one of the driest environments on Earth. Because there is so little rain and erosion, many of these enormous designs have survived for centuries. From the ground, they can look like simple lines carved into the desert. But from the air, their enormous shapes become clear. And that's what makes the Nazca Lines one of the world's most fascinating archaeological mysteries. 7. Devil's Kettle, Minnesota, USA. Our final mystery takes us to Minnesota. At Judge C. R. Magny State Park, the Brule River reaches a strange geological formation called Devil's Kettle. The river splits around a massive rock formation. One side continues downstream. But the other side disappears into a deep pothole. For years, people wondered where that water went. Did it travel underground? Did it emerge somewhere else? Could objects thrown into the pothole ever be found again? The mystery became so famous that people began conducting experiments. Scientists eventually determined that the water doesn't mysteriously disappear into another world. Still, standing beside the waterfall, it is easy to understand why people once thought something mysterious was happening beneath the surface. Devil's Kettle is another reminder that nature can create strange phenomena that challenge our first assumptions. Sometimes the mystery isn't that something supernatural is happening. The mystery is simply understanding how nature works. Globe showing Europe-Africa final, the bigger mystery. From burning craters to frozen waterfalls. From ancient desert drawings to rocks that appear to move by themselves. From strange lakes to trees that look like they came from another planet. The Earth doesn't need supernatural explanations to be mysterious. Sometimes, the real science is even more incredible. There are still countless places on Earth that scientists continue to study. And with every discovery, we learn something new about the planet we call home. So, which of these mysterious places would you want to see with your own eyes? Would you visit the burning door to hell? Would you explore the strange landscapes of Socotra? Or would you stand beside blood falls in Antarctica? Let us know in the comments. Because there are still many mysteries waiting to be discovered. See you in the next adventure.